What is up, guys? Welcome back again to my channel. And as you can see, I have Marintia, I have Benedict Easy in the channel. This is Marintia. This is literally our first call.
I know, this is crazy. You and Ben have done videos before, right?
Yeah, on my channel though.
No, I think you've been on my channel too. Yeah, you have actually.
Have I?
You have once. You have actually been once. So I think it's one for you. And how many times have I been on your channel? I think twice, 3 times.
You were there for the camera.
Yeah.
You were there for the big group one.
Okay.
She knows it.
See, I'm a loyal fan.
The housewarming too. The housewarming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think that's it. This video is geared towards most of you guys that are starting college, most of you guys that just graduated from high school. Congratulations to you guys. But we will be breaking your hearts today, giving you 6 things that they did not tell you about college. Number 1. A lot of students, well, a lot of people tell you as you go into college, you know, do what you got to do to make that money, do what you got to do to graduate. If it means you taking out so much loans and, you know, having so much debt on your head, I'm totally for graduating, doing what you have to do to get that degree, but acquiring as much loans as a lifetime is so not it. Because when you think about, and you guys can help me out here too, because I absolutely think that a lot of students go into college. Now, we're not even talking about the people that are doing things like architecture. I'm not coming for you. People that are doing things like, you know, things that aren't lucrative, you know, and then you graduate, you get a job, and let's say you've been with that job for like 20 years, 25 years now. Now, the company starts to look for, you know, hot cake, look for better people that just graduated, that has more skills than you. Now, you've only been there for 20 years, now you get laid off. Now you have so much loans to still pay off, because 20 years is not enough to pay up, let's say 500 and something thousand, you know, in debt. So now you're out of a job, you have retirement fee, probably 600 every week. That cannot put food on your table. That can so not pay your bills and pay your debts. So I think in the long run, it's basically just giving them a lot of money that you would like, taking so much loans that you would never get out of.
I used to go to Wentworth. But like, I feel like school is useless. Why do I say this? First of all, being Igbo, I've read stories of people that literally like have gone. I have cousins that have gone, like, instead of going to school, they went on to be whatever. And like, obviously times have changed. But if you backtrack, usually the training is starting a business straight up instead of going to college. And if I was given the money that I paid to go through everything, masters, and like I was put under supervision of a good business person or mentor, I know I'll be in like a 1,000 better place right now. Because first of all, I got through school through Ben ways, which I call Ben ways, like my thing, my own way of going through school. Because everyone believes that, oh, you get through school, you be serious with school, like you cut everything out. I did what I wanted to do. I flexed on my degrees, I feel like, but. And at the end of the day, it just goes to prove that you can, like, it really does not matter. Because at the end of the day, like, I feel like none of the things I've learned from school, I'm using it right now. Physics, I didn't. I don't use that right now. I mean, well, I did architecture, but like looking back at it, they never, like, there was no one that took my hand and was like, oh, this is how you design a building. They just said, oh, design a 5-bedroom building and then go. And I go look on YouTube. So I should really be a YouTuber, because I mean, I got my degree from YouTube, to be fair.
No, I agree. I think with the whole loan thing, I think one of like my business mentors that I look up to said this: it's so hard to get a job now, even after you graduate from a good school. So if you're going to university, you want to make sure you go to the best school possible. So if that means, I think it really makes sense for a lot of people to go to community college for 2 years and then transfer to a big university. Like I know like the UC colleges and Columbia and some New York universities have programs with community colleges where you can go to a community college and like basically if you do the requirements you can easily transfer into the big school, and that way you're saving money for like 2 years of the time that you're in community college. Hopefully your GPA is good and you can get like financial aid when you go for the remaining 2 years. So I think that's like a really good remedy for that situation. As far as what Ben said, I completely agree. There's so many things you don't learn in school, but it depends on your major. Like as a business major, I think a lot of the things you learn are not really useful unless you want to go and work for a company. And even then, you kind of need the degree, not what you learn in school. So as an entrepreneur, most of the things you do is outside of school. So I definitely agree with what Ben is saying as far as that is concerned.
Like I'm saying, like I could literally just pay you, like let's say they gave me 250,000, which is really what you pay for school.
Yeah.
250,000, and I could literally pay you 50,000. All right, just give me the paper already. I'll be fine. Like that's it. Because if you think about it, okay, you say business major. Think about it with all your majors. Freshman year, did you start to learn? Like I know for sure. Like I went into architecture. That's the only course that I know that you go in running. But every other course, business majors, you don't even like learn. They don't teach you guys about tax. I don't think they do. They don't teach you guys, and that's part of business. Like you can't run your business without knowing about tax numbers, EIN numbers, social security. They don't teach you that, and like they don't teach you about budgeting. They don't teach, and then they probably telling you to take math or like English. What are you using English for? You can already speak English. Right?
Yeah. No.
So that's a big fact. Sorry,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ms. Brent.
No, you're absolutely right. Like for me, when people ask me like anyone that knows me knows this. I don't think I'm learning anything useful in school. But the reason why I'm in school, I guess, is because for the degree. The degree is what the value is in, not the education. That's what I believe, like in our current education system. And that's also if you want to work for someone, which a lot of people will have to do right after you graduate to like save up, even if you want to do your own thing. And then like the network, I guess, but also for Ben and I, because we're international students, like the opportunities that are available here will only be available to us if we're like in school. So
No, I absolutely agree to that, because honestly, like Ben, you said, Ben basically implied that in college they only teach you to learn yourself. So you're basically everything that you do in college, it's not somebody instructing you, showing you, grabbing your hand and showing you, okay, this is how you do this is how you do that. You're basically learning everything on your own. And so Ben, you're basically saying, if I can learn it on my own, paying this amount of money, I can do that sitting at home and not paying you that money. You know, it's the same exact thing. Like
We're all YouTubers right now. If school was real, we would all have to go to school again and learn how to use a camera.
Right.
And there's people that actually do learn photography. Crazy. That's the funny thing.
They go to school for that, to spend all that money.
yeah.
I came to this country already a man, and like I've been the same way. Like obviously I've gotten more confident, and like but like I feel like most of the things I learned was in high school, because like I'm the same way. Like I take life the same way, like to my own thing. Because I know in high school, when I told people I was gonna do architecture, they were like, and if any of my schoolmates are watching this video, they're probably gonna laugh, because they literally said, "Oh, I didn't take further math. I didn't take technical, whatever you guys call it. I didn't take that. I took food and nutrition, home economics, and fashion design." No, because I knew that part, like school, the aspect of school part of life is a joke. And like, okay, well, I'm not gonna beat it up too much. I learned because me learning fashion design pulled me into doing fashion, taught me how to cook, taught me how to keep my space clean and all that. But then,
Chef Ben.
I'm an architect still, and them guys are probably still in school, and I have a master's degree.
That was a big dagger.
Tell them. Number 2, after we bashed on school and everything, I'm still gonna give you guys advice on how you can deal with academics, since most of you guys watching this are probably going to college in the fall semester. I think a lot of people don't realize that compared to high school, there's less assignments given, and that's like a good and bad thing, because each assignment has more weight. So unlike high school, if you like fail a couple things, you can still make it up in the later assignments. And university is literally maybe 3 or 4 big projects that all your grade falls onto. and you have to, if you mess up one, you probably can't like come back a letter grade from that, like for the rest of the semester, probably. So that's what I would say. Be very conscious of like the assignments that you get and the weight that each thing has to be successful academically.
But getting to grad school is like ×2 of that. So you know, you said in high school it's less, in college. In grad school it's even less. But then the thing is, like, it's like a snake. They give you this to do, but then there's like different things you have to do around it. But then it's your business. You have to decide all you have to do. And things like the teacher, the professors are smiling with you because like at that point you're basically their colleagues, because you probably already have a job, so they don't really care as much. They've given you what you have to do, and you have to build up around it because it's your idea. So it's even worse because you can fail. The thing with grad school is that most schools, if you could fail out with a B-. If you get a B-, you're out.
That's a fact. That's a big fact because yeah, just like Marentia said, like you said, Marentia, it's more of, when you're in high school, it's more of, okay, they're understanding that you're trying to learn the material, and they're also understanding that, you know, people are prone to make mistakes. So if you make a mistake, it's okay to make it up and get back to, you know, your good academic standing. But in college, it's a one or done. If you try one exam and you fail, that's it. Like, there's nothing like a retake or none of that. Ben, you didn't do engineering, but I'm pretty sure you heard about the whole
Gateway, right?
Gateway is an exam that calculus 1 and 2 students take, and the idea is to make sure that everybody, you know, understands the basic concepts of taking derivatives and integrations. And so the structure of the exam, hear this out. So if you get anything less than an 80, it's a 0. If you get 79, it's a 0. Now this is where it's all messed up. The gateway is usually taken mid-semester. So let's say you took exam 1, exam 2, you know, and you passed it 100 on both exams. You now take the gateway, and you know you didn't do well. Obviously, you got a 0. You automatically fail the class, because their idea is there's no way you can understand how to do, you know, to pass the class and not understand the basic concepts of taking derivatives or integration. So they automatically fail you. If you fail the gateway, you fail the class. So just drop the class at that point. And now my point is, how is that a way of, you know, teaching students? Like, you're basically just teaching them to panic whenever they're under pressure, and not teaching them to, you know, bounce back whenever they get to a point like that, you know?
3, finance. I talk about that a lot on my channel, even intertwined with my videos, because it's very important. When I first came to this country, I really had the mindset of like, because my brother, when he went to school in London, he sold clothes online, he DJ'd, and like I always ask myself, like, why do you need that? Like, they send you money. What else do you have to buy? Because at the time I didn't know. But then coming here, I realized that, like, first of all, being an international student, you're not allowed to work. So just get that bubble out of your head. You're not working. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna start to sell clothes on eBay. I sold clothes on eBay. I did like a lot of side, like, legal work. Be careful as well. There's a very thin line between being international and trying to start a business and is going illegal or legal. There's a very thin line, and you might not know, and you can cross that. And America is a very wrong place to do crime.
Facts.
Very wrong place to do crime. So like, all I'll say, honestly, just to wrap it up, is always have the mindset of like getting as much money as you can and saving it up, and not just saving, but like finding a way to always keep investing and growing your money. Because at the end of the day, when if I could do college again, honestly, I would, because I was a very, thank God I'm repented, I was a very frivolous person. I used to spend a lot when I was in the younger classes. But if I was like,
sorry sir, you say you have repented.
If I was to do it again, I won't. If I was to do it again, I won't like spend as much. I would obviously like reinvest like all the money that I used to make from selling stuff on eBay, selling shoes, selling all that. Yeah, I would definitely reinvest it and have it for now, because all that money is gone.
Finances is interesting because I think like prior coming to college, like I've always done like small things here and there. So I had like decent savings to be able to like fund things that I wanted to do. So like when I first came to college, like freshman year, everyone was like, how is this girl always leaving campus and traveling? But like I always either I worked during the summer, and like honestly ever since I was like 10, 9, I always had some type of hustle to be making some type of income. So I had savings, and then that's how I was kind of like funding fun things to do. But if you're an international student, you can work on campus. So that's like a pro. But personally, if you want to do something outside of school, like for example YouTube, you want to make sure that it's worth your time. Like working for minimum wage versus not making any money but making YouTube videos that could help you in the future can be like something you might want to focus on.
Well, to add to that, to what you guys said, a lot of students come into college, you know, and get into this habit of wanting to stay alone. You know, they want to read all the book in the world to pass. But you know, in reality, you have to, you know, make friends, find your clique. You know, I think that's kind of how me and you became friends. And you know, the opportunities that we, you know, were able to hack, and that's.
And the funny thing is that I being an international student, I put you on to work too.
Yeah, he put me onto a lot of things. So it's not even about forget status, like you know, it's all about experience. He has been in the school 2 years before me. So, you know, me being in this country still didn't matter because he had experience in that institute than me. This guy was like, yo, you know, you can get a job in DTS, you know, and you can do your work while you're still making bread. And that was so much of a blessing, you know, till today. So, yeah.
Facts.
Even the sneaker hustle too.
Now, this is where the frivolous came in.
Oh my goodness.
Number 4. I think not all 18-year-old students are ready for college, in the sense that everybody comes from different style of learning. Everybody comes from a different style of learning, especially for Boston. A lot of students that come from Boston public schools and people that come from private schools. And the messed up thing about that is that the students in private schools have more exposure and have more experience than, you know, private school students. Private school, they barely teach them anything. You get what I'm saying? So when you go into college, knowing that you're not fully equipped, you start getting hit with, especially like a whole lot of new academic structure that you're not so used to, like getting 4 essays in a week, like having to do exams every month, you know, that kind of thing, like 3 exams every month, and you're not used to that. You're not used to that kind of work ethic. So you go in there, now in a year or less than a year, you get kicked out. Now you're a dropout. And now the dropout rate of black students or students in general continue to increase, while your chances of being successful in life continue to decrease.
I mean, dropping out doesn't really mean unsuccessful, but what's it called? About what you just said, like I agree with that, because like I'm speaking as an international student, so no one should come for my head on Ezra's channel. But American 18-year-olds are babies, like they're like 14-year-olds, cause like an 18-year-old in Nigeria, Ghana, the UK are basically 21-year-olds. I'll tell you why.
That's facts.
Because the thing is, where we're from, especially Nigeria, I'll speak for Nigeria, especially Nigeria, we were put through life so early, like already. We went to boarding school. Boarding school in itself is like a simulated life. Like you're basically put in like a place without your parents. You have to fend for yourself. You have to like fight seniors. You have to fight your mates. You have to you're literally in jail living life.
Yeah, it's basically survival.
Yeah, you're surviving. So like you're grown by the time you come out. So like even though you're coming here at 18, you're like 21 compared to these guys. Because I like me coming and then me growing older and then watching other guys that have come to the school at 18. I'm seeing other 18-year-olds, both like Nigerian and non-Nigerian. I'm like, I see it.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think so I grew up in Ghana, so like I think the thing is that most people in the US are a little bit more sheltered, whereas like we are given more freedom in like a weird way. Like not freedom as in you can do what you want, but like your parents' eyes are not constantly on you, because like you said, either you're in boarding school or like you're doing something. And like for example, I started driving to school like when I was like young, and like I would just basically do everything by myself. Like after school, I'll go and drive myself to basketball practice, then come back. Like I do all that by myself. Whereas like America,
yours was a little bit privileged because
mine was privileged.
Because I was in boarding school, I didn't see a car for a little bit. I
didn't go to boarding school. I didn't go to boarding school. A lot of people that were in boarding school in Ghana actually like moved to my school because they saw the nice life and they wanted to come out.
Nah, I envied people that went to day school like back then.
Yeah.
Like I did, because
I won't lie, day school was lit. Yeah, day school was nice, but I think also maybe it's like my personal experience. Like personally, like my parents are constantly working, so like everything I basically did independently by myself. So, and I think that's kind of like the life of a lot of people coming from abroad. So compared to people that grew up here, I guess a little bit more mature maybe.
Yeah, I think the discipline part also comes into play because like you know, like Ben, you said a 14-year-old in Nigeria is basically like an 18-year-old here, and I feel like everything is like we said, it's just the exposure, it's it's the freedom in disguise, which is allowing you to see life with your own two eyes. It takes a village to train up a child, you know, and the way it is in this country is more of like, you know, every man to themselves, every man to their own children. But in Nigeria, you know, like Nigeria and Africa in general, Nigeria, Ghana, it's easy for another person that, you know, that's older than you to tell you, guy, that thing really doesn't make sense. You know, what you know doesn't make sense at all, you know, and you pattern up. So I think it's all in the discipline and everything altogether.
I agree. Number 5. I think a lot of people are interested in like the party life, social life. I can only speak for Georgia Tech because that's the school I go to. So you guys can like let me know how it is at your school. But being like a school in the South, it's like very much the typical college experience you see in like the movies. I know for a lot of my friends that go to school in Boston, that's not the case. Like Greek life is a big part of like Georgia Tech's party scene. So Greek life, organizations throwing parties, but also the good thing about being in Georgia Tech is it's in the city, so you can go to like regular clubs. I mean, if you are of age, you can go to regular clubs that are in the city without like having to go to a school party. But a big part of like the school's social life is like dictated by organizations or Greek life. A lot of people are in Greek life compared to other schools, I've realized, at my school. So yeah, what about you guys?
Yeah, the thing is like that's one thing I probably regret because like I came into school, like I feel like I came in freshman year being a little bit stuck up because I never messed with any of that. Like I've you know, Mission Hill, I never been to there. Like I never really cared for all those kind of parties. I mean, I did go to parties, but I kind of stuck to my own demographic of like, or like the closest thing was the MIT black parties, like
your own definition of fun.
Yeah, like stuck to my own kind of. I never wanted to step out of my circle. I didn't want to like. Yeah. So, yeah, I can't really step too much because like I feel like I only started partying a lot, and then it was like party, and then I just kind of because plus architecture doesn't leave you any room. It's like junior year, and in Boston, to be honest, like if you're not 21, just forget about it.
Yeah, there's
like, unless you have a really good fake, then you're good. But if you don't, then like just forget about it. Like
we're not supporting that. But if you can get fake, get it. But we're not supporting it.
We're not supporting it.
Like Maranti and Ben said, have fun. You know.
Enjoy life.
Balance the life. That's what they won't tell you. They'll tell you college is for you to come and die. No, balance your social life.
Actually, and also don't believe these movies though, because like I know for sure before I came to college, I watched a lot of American Pie, and I was like, oh shit, is this what the kind of parties are gonna be like? And I came here, and it's not really the case. Like you kind of create your own fun, like for yourself. Like, yeah. Don't expect too much. Just go with the flow. I believe.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree, and I think that goes for like anything. Like literally, if you have your group of friends that you have fun with, you kind of start finding your way and like your type of fun. but like the general, like the first party you go to probably won't be good. Like probably.
Well, it
But
depends,
still-
like if you were partying back, if you were like partying back home, then probably you might not.
Oh yeah, I mean like your first party in like college might not be, might not live up to your expectations. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And so for number 6, it'll kind of be a question. So would you guys? Well, I will not speak for Wentworth. I'll allow you to speak for Wentworth, Ben. So would you actually recommend Wentworth to a newly graduated high school student that wants to go into, engineering and all of that? And Marintia, would you recommend Georgia Tech to someone that just graduated, from high school, mainly from an international point of view? Would you recommend Georgia Tech to an international student?
Wentworth is one of the best architecture schools in the country. First, I'll give them that. And why do I say, like, apart from that, the ranking, like in actual learning, they take you from a very base level, and like they spike you up. Like you actually grow in the school, and they give you like the good steps to, and they're great professors as well. But for international students, I would tell you to shop around a little bit, just because the international personnel don't know what they're doing. They don't know anything. Like it's this thing where they're like, oh, you should do this, but they're not sure. Go check on the website. I'm like, why are you like there? So if you ask any international student, they'll tell you the same thing at Wentworth.
A lot of people ask me like, how do you pick your colleges? And the biggest advice I would give to like that I wish I had known was that know what you want to do and then backtrack to see if the school fits your vision. For example, like Georgia Tech fits right for like the specific type of students. If you're trying to work for Google, Facebook, Microsoft, if you want to work for like those type of companies, computer science majors, engineers, Georgia Tech is ranked very highly and it's like very prestigious. So having a degree from Georgia Tech will be really, really good for you if your mind is set on like working for a company, even as a business major, right? They give you that tech background that companies really like. So if you're a business major, you can get really, really good jobs. Like a lot of my friends have interned at all the companies I've mentioned. But if you're creative, if you want to do something entrepreneurial, it might not be the best place. And I can only say that from my experience because there aren't too many creative people. Like not creative people, but there aren't too many creatives on campus. So unlike other schools, for example, if you're in Georgia, Georgia State has a lot of creatives. So I've collabed with more Georgia State people than Georgia Tech people. And entrepreneurial things, you don't really have much that you can do. Everything is pretty much like set up for you to be able to enter the traditional career world. So if you want to do something more untraditional, then Georgia Tech might not be the option for you, but it still could be. And you also want to consider the city that you're in. So like if Atlanta seems like your vibe, then Georgia Tech could also be a good fit for you. So I would say like consider those things if you want to choose Georgia Tech.
Yeah, no, I agree. I that's something I probably left out with like Wentworth as well, because there's this thing they call, I don't know if you heard about it, Ezra, but there's this thing they call the Wentworth Mafia. So meaning that in literally, if you look up any company, there's someone from Wentworth at that place. So like you always have a connection, because like Wentworth students, Wentworth is a very old school, by the way. It's been there for a minute. Like we've always been like the underdogs to MIT. So it's like you would always get a job regardless. If you got good grades, but you would always get a job.
So honestly, basically, guys, if you really want to go into engineering, architecture, and your school, the schools that you're really interested in is Georgia Tech or Wentworth, watch this video, and like everybody has said, throughout the whole video, look before you leap. Make sure that the schools that you're applying to offer what exactly that you want to do. For Wentworth and Georgia Tech, to be specific, if you want to go there, which they're both advising you to, make sure that you make friends. Connection, networking is key to survive in this field of study. Make sure that you actually get enough money to go to the school, so you don't have to deal with so much loans on your neck, years after graduating and all of that good stuff. So with that being said, if you guys really loved us talking about the schools, Wentworth and Georgia Tech to be specific, give this video a thumbs up. If you want to message them directly or ask them a specific question, the information, exactly like Ben said, it will be right here, or it will be in the description below. So without further ado,